Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk, KGVO. Welcome as always to Missoula Real Estate Today. We hope you're staying healthy and happy, and sure nice to have you be a part of News Talk, KGVO. And as always, Diane Beck from Windermere Real Estate brings us fun, interesting guests. We have a first-time guest. Not first time for MUD, but Jane's first time. Jane Mcguire is Communications Coordinator for Missoula Urban Demonstration Project. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
We had your buddy Casey Valencia on a while back. I honestly don't even remember how long. It's been a little while.
Right. I think about a year ago now.
All right. Well, we got to redo the get acquainted part. What is a MUD, or Missoula Urban Demonstration Project? What services do you provide, and how did it come to be in existence?
Yeah, so at MUD, our mission is to empower people to live sustainably through tool sharing and hands-on learning. And so we do that by having our tool library on site, which is probably our main attractor to MUD. It's definitely the most popular and most used and what we're most well known for. We have an inventory of about 2,500 tools that our members can borrow for the price of an annual membership. We also focus a lot on teaching people how to use those tools through a variety of workshops that we offer throughout the year. Of course, those have come to a bit of a halt lately, but normally we teach all kinds of workshops. For examples, in the past we've done tree pruning and usually a butchering workshop around this time of year. In the winter, we'll have our blacksmithing workshops. In the springs, we do a lot of carpentry type stuff. And lately, we've started introducing some beekeeping classes as well. And so those are kind of some of the two main pillars of MUD. We also have our demonstration site, which kind of showcases a variety of sustainable living techniques. And actually, the history of MUD within the community goes back quite a ways, all the way back to 1981. It was started by a collective of individuals on the north side of town who actually had a couple of demonstration homes, and they lived on site and they practiced these sustainable living techniques. And they were really woven into kind of their everyday lives, and they invited people to come and learn and take part in workshops. They had a tool library, which was much smaller at that time, just in a garage, basically. And we've kind of sprouted from those beginnings and still try to incorporate a lot of their same values and ideals today into our current location.
Was this inspired by other communities? Are you familiar with programs like this in other communities in the West or in the country anywhere? Mm-hmm. Are there a lot of these, or is this kind of unique to Missoula, as many things are?
Yeah, you know what? There is actually a really rich network of tool libraries across the world. It's not limited to Missoula by any means. I would say that Missoula, the MUD tool library, is unique in that it incorporates kind of so many diverse factors of demonstration, of workshops, in addition to the tool library. But I would say that most major cities across the U.S. will have a tool library. And there's also, tool libraries in Iceland and Germany and all across Europe. And a lot of them have a really similar focus to MUD in terms of, building self-reliance in individuals and kind of building more sustainable and resilient communities. And oftentimes they occur in tandem with a maker space or some kind of similar space where people can come and use those tools. So the site does tend to be really important within those tool libraries as well.
And we'll get into more details about some of the products and services Jane mentioned they offer. Mm-hmm. Jane Mcguire, Communications Coordinator with Missoula Urban Demonstration Project. Our guest this week on Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. And your background with MUD, Jane, what led you to pursue a position there, and what do your duties entail?
Yeah, so I was first exposed to MUD when I first moved here not that long ago in the summer of 2017. A friend invited my husband and I to their garden party, which is a big event typically held around this time of year at Mud. I remember just being really blown away by all the cool stuff going on there, and the warm environment and just a lot of fun. And then when this position came up, well, actually, I should back up. My husband and I then became members that night to Mud and started really taking advantage of all of the tool library had to offer.
Yeah.
At the time, we were just renters in a really, really tiny apartment. But we were blown away and really grateful for the fact that we didn't need to own even a vacuum cleaner. We didn't have space for one. We could rent a vacuum from Mud. And there's so many, I feel like the tools within the inventory go far beyond what you might typically consider to be part of what might be in your basic garage. Beyond, aside from vacuum cleaners, there's canning equipment, there's cider presses, there's all kinds of funky stuff.
Yeah.
But we started renting tools from there for various projects. And when this position opened up, I was really intrigued as well, because I was at the time looking for something with a really flexible schedule where I could work from home. And it was just a really, really great fit. I also started work in the past worked on the trail crew in Yellowstone National Park and just kind of had a bit of a passion for just hand tools.
We have had Missoula Urban Demonstration Project on before, a long time ago. Also had guests on from Home Resource, which provides education in sustainable lifestyle categories, I guess you could say. Are there any similarities and or relationships between the two of you?
Definitely. We partner with Home Resource on so many things, and we're so grateful to have them as neighbors. For those of you who aren't familiar, Home Resource is a materials reuse store that focuses on really similar elements of community building that Mud does. And we share our tools with Home Resource for their Fix-It clinics that they host throughout the year. We share space. We are literally right next door to each other.
Yes.
We share a parking space. So for the Home Resource just had their spontaneous construction event last weekend.
I remember that, yeah.
And it's really awesome, fun festival of creative reuse. And they, had a team building at our site. And really the combination of Home Resource and Mud makes for this kind of one-stop shop where people who are working on projects can hop over to Home Resource and find the materials they need and then come right over to Mud and borrow the tools that they need to make their project happen.
And we'll go over all of this again at the end of the show, but I guess this would be a good time to mention you said you were neighbors where you are located in town.
Oh, yeah. So we're located right on the corner of Russell Street and Wyoming Street.
Right.
So our address is 1527 Wyoming. And yeah, really centrally located. It's been a great spot for us.
Not far from my friend Shane Klaus's Pink Grizzly Nursery and Greenhouse.
Yep, right across the street.
Jane Mcguire, Communications Coordinator for Missoula Urban Demonstration Project on Missoula Real Estate Today. Let's talk about sustainability workshops. I don't know how much that's been hampered by coronavirus, but some of the projects with which you try to help develop people's skills.
Totally. So our workshops are pretty hobby-based, as well as we really want to empower people who might not think to try their hand at carpentry, for example, which is why we started our women-led carpentry series, which has always been really popular in the fall and in the spring. Other past examples beyond the one that I mentioned earlier are we've had permaculture design workshops, backyard chicken care, small engine repair, canning. We recently got some bees on site, and we're really excited about that. We have a couple hives, and we've been hosting a variety of workshops around beekeeping. We actually have one upcoming workshop on honey extraction on Saturday the 26th. I'm not a beekeeper, so I can't speak in depth about this, but we just got a brand new honey extractor, and we'll be teaching beekeepers within the community how to utilize that honey extractor to harvest honey from their hives. And then the honey extractor will go into our tool library inventory and be available for members to borrow. And yeah, we'll also be hosting a hive health and winterization workshop in October to help local beekeepers learn how to keep their hives alive and healthy through the winter.
What inspired that demand? Do you get input from your members saying, hey, this is something that I wish Missoula Urban Demonstration Project would, start offering?
It is very member driven. Members will mention that they would like to learn a certain skill. We also will get people in the community who offer to teach certain skills. That's been really, really huge for us. And one way that we've been able to partner with members of our community who teach workshops for us year after year after year. And I mean, funding's a big part of it as well, having the funding to bring in these bees and all of the kind of infrastructure that they require, as well as what we happen to have on site. We just happen to have these awesome hives donated. We happen to have a bee suit donated. We happen to have skilled staff members who had experience. And so it all just kind of manifested into this reality of, let's bring bees here. We felt that they would also, pollinators are so important, and so much of what we do at MUD is focused on gardening. Not only, we have our urban gardens, we have our little orchard on site, and we thought that welcoming in some pollinators would kind of be a great way to bring that full circle. And in tandem with the bees, we've also hosted a native pollinator, a workshop to help participants understand what kinds of native plants that they can introduce to their own yards and gardens.
You are membership based. What is the process to becoming a member?
So it's a lot like going and becoming a member at any public library where you would check out books. Members just come see us at MUD. They fill out some information. It takes about 5 minutes. And then they get a membership card, and they can come see us during our open hours to check out and return and donate tools anytime.
All right. Is that open to everyone? Are there income guidelines or any restrictions or specific? I'm having a hard time getting these words out. Restrictions or specifications, things like that.
Anyone within the community, we do ask that they're local and that they'll be using our tools for personal use as opposed to a landscaping business or being, if they're contractors.
A little less wear and tear on them that way.
Definitely less wear and tear, and more likely to have tools actually in our inventory available for people to check out. The membership fees are income based, so it's a sliding scale. Folks who earn less than $25,000 per year pay a annual fee of just $35. It goes all the way up to $120 per year for households earning over $100,000 per year, and it is per household. Currently we have over 500 members, household memberships. So, and per membership is likely 2 people. So, we're really happy to be serving a good chunk of the community. And
that is obviously a big part of your funding. Are there other funding opportunities that you are able to work on and build besides that? Yeah,
we definitely get a significant amount of grants from different foundations, specifically going towards funding projects that we do on site or introducing various kinds of workshops, we're so happy to, as of a couple years ago, have this great solar panel array on our tool library roof that powers the majority of our operations on site, and things like that are all made possible by grants.
Well, let's get into the tool opportunities a little bit more. You mentioned at the beginning of the show, and I guess I should mention again, our guest, Jane Mcguire, Communications Coordinator for Missoula Urban Demonstration Project, MUD. That is a great acronym, MUD. And you got acquainted with them because you were able to check out a vacuum cleaner. But some of the more popular tool items, I suppose it's a little bit seasonal related, depending on the time of year, what you check out. But I imagine there are some pretty hot items all year round.
Definitely, especially in the early spring and summer. And this year in particular, I think because so many people were at home and feeling really motivated to tackle home projects, home and garden projects that they maybe wouldn't have had the opportunity otherwise. We're really utilizing mud a lot. The line trimmers and lawn mowers are always really, really popular. And the gardening tools in general definitely are in high demand during the summer. Things slow down quite a lot in the winter time. Yeah. We still have the same open hours, but when it slows down, it does provide a good opportunity for us to really focus on tool maintenance and making sure that we're continuing to provide a quality resource throughout the year, because we do get a lot of use during the summer months.
Yeah, and you do get donations of those tools, and I'm sure everyone who donates, they're well-meaning. At the same time, you've got to make sure that they're in decent operation, right? Somebody's got to be kind of in charge of inventory quality control.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we do ask that community members kind of check ahead prior to donating a tool, but it's not required. We get a ton of generous donations. Almost all of our tools are donated by the community, with the rare exception of, for example, our honey extractor. But yeah, occasionally when someone comes to donate something that we already have quite a few of, we'll ask that they just take it next door to home resource and they can sell it. Or if something just isn't working and doesn't seem like it'll be an easy fix for us, we may not accept it.
What are the policies on the duration of checkout? You can have it for a day, a week, a few hours. How does that work?
Yeah, the vast majority of tools, when they're checked out, can be held onto by the member for a week, with the option to renew it up to 3 times. There are a few tools that have differing rules. For example, our cider presses, because they're in such high demand during the fall, and we only have 4 of them, they're actually just checked out in increments about 3 hours. And so we have a whole reservation process for those. But the majority of tools, it's 1 week.
All right. How's the truck share going? You can also share a truck with your members, right?
Yes, definitely our biggest tool. So we have a truck share, and it's a popular part of our tool library. We are looking to upgrade the truck. One kind of inhibiting factor for many of our members, is that it is a manual or a transmission, and it is old as well. So the manual transmission is not the smoothest.
Right.
We're looking to upgrade to an automatic, but of course that is a big chunk of change. So if anyone out there has a working truck they'd like to donate to Mud, definitely get in touch.
Yeah, get a hold of Jane. She would love to hear from you. Back to the demonstrations. You have a demonstration site on your site. People got to come to you for the demos. What are some of the things we can expect to see during demonstrations? You mentioned the beekeeping, but there are probably many others as well.
Yeah, so our site at Mud is an active demonstration site in nature. We've incorporated sustainability projects kind of into every element of Mud. The tool library itself is housed within repurposed shipping containers. We have incorporated reuse lumber into all of the roofs and kind of the built projects surrounding that. The pathways among the gardens are made of recycled and crushed glass. So that enables rainwater to percolate through this permeable surface and replenish the water table kind of right where it falls. And we have the bees, we have the urban gardens, the orchard, and occasionally we will do demonstrations on site, but really we consider Mud itself to sort of be this demonstration in sustainable living that when currently our site is closed to the public due to COVID, but during in more normal times, our site is open and available to the public to come and hang out and learn and explore. We have interpretive signage throughout the site, which we recently acquired and is highlighting each of these various demonstration projects. So we just strive to kind of be an example of how to live lightly on the earth and incorporate reused materials into this beautiful place.
Tell us a little bit more about the staff. Besides a communications coordinator such as yourself, what does it take to make the Missoula Urban Demonstration Project run smoothly?
Yeah, so we've got our director, Casey, who's great, and we have a few tool librarians, kind of three core tool librarians and one seasonal tool librarian. And we also have an intern with us currently. Throughout the year, we'll often have one or two interns. We've also worked with AmeriCorps Vista members in the past. Right. We also have a fleet of volunteers who work with us a bit more intermittently. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about that volunteer effort. What all volunteers do to help you succeed?
Yeah, so we get a lot of volunteer help during events, which is great. Usually we'll be hosting a big Earth Day celebration in the spring, as well as a garden party celebration. And those are really big, fun parties, and we get a lot of folks within the community stepping up to help with that. We also have really core volunteers that have helped with repairing small engines, keeping our snow blowers and line trimmers and all that kind of stuff up and running, and workshop instruction. We have one fellow, Mark Vandermeer, who's volunteered year after year. It's time to teach his blacksmithing workshop in the winter, which is always really popular, and tree pruning as well.
Interesting. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Jane Mcguire, Communications Coordinator for Missoula Urban Demonstration Project. And I want to say thank you to some of Diane's marketing partners that help bring you the show every weekend on News Talk KGVO. They include Rob Fleming with Man Mortgage, Miles Link at Opportunity Bank of Montana, and Carol Blodgett from MakeItMissoula.com. Casey, I'm sorry, not Casey. Casey Valencia is the director there. This is Jay McGuire. You had mentioned current membership is around 500, did you say?
About 500 households,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, 500. What about recruitment? How do you go about getting the word out and getting more people excited about joining?
So it's mostly word of mouth. People find out about us like I did a couple of years ago, or we go to a lot of events, and we'll set up a table there at the, let's see, last year we were at the Clean Energy Expo put on by Climate Smart Missoula, or various pint nights. Various breweries and restaurants are always really generous.
There's a fun gig right there.
Totally. And workshops. People will hear about a workshop and come and participate and learn about the tool library that way and decide to join. But yeah, by far, word of mouth is how we get how people are attracted to us.
I always like to ask my guests, every guest, about recent success stories or anything that members have accomplished that you found particularly rewarding working with mud.
Totally. So there are so many awesome projects that our members have created. We had a member who was working on building out her van to go travel, and she created this beautiful little home on wheels using mud tools and home resource materials. Organizations such as the Flat Forum for Living with Appropriate Technology. They're another.
Was not familiar with that one.
Okay, yeah, they're a run organization focused on similar things as MUD. They have a really great demonstration site where they are and do various workshops, and have a lot of community kind of dig days where they will work together on their gardens, and they'll have a dozen or more people on their side, and everybody needs a shovel. And so they'll come over to MUD and get a whole truckload of tools and really make those events possible. And we had some members just a month ago or so build this beautiful, gorgeous table. They had very little experience with tools going into it, but they learned what they needed to know and built this dining room table that is just lovely with sort of these raw log legs. It's really great to see what our members have accomplished from garden projects to small home improvement projects like that to complete remodels. Yeah. We have members who have literally borrowed tools from us like thousands of times. They're just at Mud every weekend borrowing tools to make these really big projects happen within their homes.
Well, believe it or not, we only have a few minutes left here, Jane, and I want to make sure I give you plenty of time to, we had discussed fundraising and membership dues and things like that to generate revenue earlier in the show, but you do have a virtual fundraising event coming up Monday, as a matter of fact. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So in lieu of our annual garden party.
Because of coronavirus, you don't have the annual garden party.
Correct, which is one of it is our biggest and one of our only fundraisers throughout the year. We are instead hosting our Garden Project Week, in which we are hoping to invite our community to engage with us over these sustainable living projects, as well as to have the opportunity to bid on an online silent auction. We have a new line of Mud branded merchandise on our website available to buy with some gorgeous designs by one of our board members. We'll be doing a film screening Monday and Tuesday of some films that are presented by the International Wildlife Film Festival. There are a few short films by Patagonia Films, actually, about regenerative organic soil health. And Caitlin Lewis of the Missoula nonprofit Soil Cycle will be joining us for a discussion about those films afterwards. And we also will be doing a few demonstrations at the Mud site and recording them and posting them to our website. A rain barrel installation at Soil Cycle. It's a method of harvesting rainwater, as well as an aquaponics setup, which is a really cool closed system gardening technique that uses live organisms, in this case fish, to kind of provide nutrients for plants growing in water. It's a soilless kind of growing medium. It's just fish nutrients and water. We'll be doing a demonstration on that, as well as offering a couple of different DIY kits that are really family friendly that folks can purchase and pick up at Mud and build at home with the assistance of a little online tutorial. So kind of a hodgepodge of events that we're offering.
You got a ton of stuff going on. Is that going to go all week?
It will be going on all week. So
Monday through Friday?
Exactly. Monday through Saturday, actually.
Monday through Saturday, all right.
And it's all taking place at www.mudproject.org. Okay. And so you can hop on over there and explore all that we have to offer. There will be different content available throughout the week. So we encourage you to come on back multiple times throughout the week. Definitely check out some of that silent auction stuff. We've also put together a really great little guide of DIY projects that have been kind of selected by our board and staff as either things that they've created at home or things that they know people who have made. And we've kind of put together this guide that is available if you choose to donate to us.
All right. And again, that event is Monday, as in this Monday, September 21st, running through Saturday, September 26th. And again, web address and location before we wrap it up here, Jane.
Great. Yeah. So www.mudproject.org. And we are.
Do you know what you click on to get to the? Does it just say?
There will be a big banner at the top of the website.
Great.
Be very, very clear.
Sure.
And we're located at 1527 Wyoming Street. Our hours are Monday and Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
And Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are currently open for curbside tool pickup.
Oh, sure.
You can come see us and sign up for a membership and request whatever tools you need.
Jane Mcguire, Communications Coordinator for Missoula Urban Demonstration Project. Great job. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today. We'll see you next time.